Pause.
What? Oh, yeah, there it is. Do you want to do the boom? We're live, Lewis. Should I do it? Oh, no, not
I'm
you.
getting tingles.
Not you too. Not you too, Lewis.
Yeah, imitation is
and we're
the
live.
most sincere.
It
form of
is.
flattery.
And we can all imitate El Caney during the show. Shout out to Captain Zach Hicks. Get those boots on, Zach. Get those toes wiggling for a nice keister kick. We got Todd Ellis here. We got Warren Sklar. Damn, I missed it. Oh no, it's just getting going. We got Mark T. Erfan doesn't have those Mick Jagger lips though. I got his hips, not the lips though. But I could show you guys a couple things on the hips.
Oh
Just imagine that, but hip action. Just shaking them. All right, well, let me send out the tweet, Lewis. Oh, now they're pouring in. Yeah.
Tweet.
Here you go. I didn't spell check it though, so just FYI.
Oh my God, not again.
I never do, Lewis. I just leave it to you. That's what I got you for. We got Level Remix here. Hola, gents. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, guys. It's going to be a packed show. Some, I think, would even call it insanely great. I think there'd probably be some that call it that. Maybe not a ton of people, but maybe like one or two people. It looks like both Leander and Lewis have gone comatose, so that's cool. We got Chaz. Oh man, what a great name! I hope that's your real name. There's far too few Chazes in the world. Chaz828. Whatever happened to what we're into? We need some gadget ideas, dude. We are doing an under review today. We are doing an under review today. I totally agree. It's been forever since we've done any segment but just straight news. I think because it's been a little bit of a gadget drought. And also, there's been so much news to talk about. But I've got a stellar piece of tech. Actually, this piece of tech I'm going to talk about this show is something that changed the way I live my life. That's not an understatement or an overstatement either. It's neither of those. It's right in the middle. It's a perfect statement. Let's see here. Carlos R. Need anything from Disneyland? Yeah, season passes. Pick me up a couple of those and some plane tickets too. Todd Ellis said faves and raves. Oh, man. We should bring that up, bring that back. It's been a long time. Insanely Great says Ryan Stryker. Warren Sklar says nip rings. Present. Well, can you see him? I'm going full Cuomo over here, Lewis.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
You know what? That was a test to see if you knew what I was talking about, and you did.
Clearly.
You knew. You still got it, man. Just imagine those things at the beach covered in cocoa butter. Whoo-wee. All right, well, let's go ahead and just get this thing going, guys, because I think our viewership is dropping on account of the Cuomo nipple rings bit. So let me cue up who, and we'll
to
jump.
avert my own eyes.
Well, hopefully you'll be thinking about that. It'll just pop into your mind's eye later today when you're disciplining one of the writers.
Grim.
Dude, now it's in my mind. I can't stop thinking about that picture of him in that white polo.
I love you.
Dude,
Creep.
I mean, can you imagine, Leonard? Have you ever considered getting a couple of nip piercings no?
No.
I just kind of feel like there's a certain age at which you have to say, if I haven't already gotten any piercings in my nips, it's just over,
Have you ever considered groping your coworkers?
Oh gosh. Let me
Allegedly.
let me bring up old Mrs. D. Where is she? Hello, Mrs. D. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Had some spicy chatter. You know what I love, Lewis? Drive-by fruitings. Talk about a segue.
What the hell?
Guess who else has their nips pierced, Lewis?
Jeez. Where's the next button? Skip.
Oh my, let's get the show going. Good idea, Mrs. D. That might have been TMI. Let me get the music going. I mean, I didn't mind, but I know that Lewis and Leander get a little bashful talking about such things. Let me cue up the music, and we'll get this show going. Hello! welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Everyone Elijah. Join me today. He's been tased by Apple security so many times it doesn't even work anymore, so now they're trying cattle prods. I heard they're considering blow darts. But he's quick, and he's made it on site several times, regardless of their attempts to stop him. He's the founder of CultMac. Leander Cady is here.
Hello.
Also with us. Let's see here. When he discovered a CultMac writer taking a break after a stressful week, he put his arm around him, gave him a squeeze. And he squeezed a little harder, and then a little harder. And then he whispered in their ear, "You better get back to your desk and get back to typing." Whew. He's tough, but fair. He's the managing editor of CultMac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Yep, here I am.
I heard you that you just squeeze until all you hear is like the wheezing, right?
Sometimes the head pops off. That's what's so scary.
Like in The World's End. Did you ever see that movie? No, of course not. I'm sorry I even asked.
Is that one of those pirate movies?
No. It was one of the Simon Pegg Cornetto trilogy ones.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw it. This is a CultCast first, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about a movie that Lewis actually remembers.
Was this the pub run one?
Yes, this is the one. Yeah,
And that was the name of the pub, right?
The World's End. That's right. Yeah. The first part of the movie.
Aliens were involved as well as beer.
Jeez, don't spoil the whole dang plot. It wasn't aliens, really, but it was an interesting movie, wasn't it?
What was it?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because you're going to spoil it for everyone who's probably not going to see it anyway. But I am interested to hear though. Leander, did you like that movie?
No, I hate it. But I'm a big fan of
Shocker.
Simon Pegg
Yeah.
and what's his name, Wright?
Nick Frost,
The guy that directed it.
Oh,
Edward Wright.
Yeah, Edgar Wright. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought but I didn't like that. I didn't like that one.
that one was a little weird. I mean, I kind of feel like the other two. So there was Shaun of the Dead and then Hot Fuzz, which I think are better movies. But
Yeah.
But the thing about The World's End is like the first part is actually kind of cringeworthy. It's not made very well. It feels kind of contrived. But once you make it past the first third of the movie, like the second 2/3 is outstanding. I thought it just kept getting better and better, and I loved the end as well. So I would put the last 2/3 on par with Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. But the first, you got to make it through the first third, and a lot of people just thought it was kind of a stinker. All right, let's see here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the M1X MacBook Pro again. Yes, Lewis, we're talking about it again. I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
But you know what? We at least got to give an update because I know that there's a lot of people there who have some money that are wanting to spend that money on something that isn't just a branding update like the Apple Watch Series 7.
Oh jeez.
Where's my... No, it's gone. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. There we go. Thanks. And we want to talk about the Apple Watch Series 7 because the pre-orders start. By the time you listen to this, the pre-orders may have already started. And the interesting thing is like there's like almost no information about the new Apple Watches. If you go on Apple's website, it's like they're totally unprepared to actually sell this thing. And I was telling Lewis because he's like, man, should we even talk about this? Because by the time that people listen to this, it may already be out. And I was like, dude, I'm not so sure. Honestly, like the way it's been going so far, with nothing available on their website. I mean, they have the promotion page, but there's a lot of stuff that's still not up that they would normally have up by now. I'm not even sure if they're going to have this thing released by tomorrow. I find the whole thing to be very strange. Let's see here. Of course, it is the being the 10-year anniversary of Steve Jobs' passing. I thought that we could remember Steve Jobs, and I thought there were some really cool and touching tributes to Steve on Apple's homepage. The one they put on Apple's homepage I thought was really special and perfect and suited for the occasion. And then Johnny Ive came out with a statement, and he hasn't spoken about Steve Jobs' death, I think, ever. So this is the first statement that we've had from him. I also can't believe it's been 10 years. 10 years! I got to look to see how old this show actually is. I thought we were getting close to like 10 or 11 years. I don't even know. But I remember when this story happens. God, that's such a rude way of putting it. I remember when Steve Jobs passed away. And it was an emotional event for me personally, and we were doing the show at the time, and we had been doing it for a while. So now I'm like, how old is this show? No one even knows. So I'm going to have to go look that up. And then we're going to wrap up with an all-new under review which I know some people have been missing, and I've got some serious gadgets here to show you today. I know Lewis has got something. I know Lander's got something, and we got to start working some more gadgets into the show because after October, it's going to be news drought until June, and I don't know what we're going to do. So we're going to have to start, I don't know, doing puppet shows or something just to keep the show interesting, which actually would be pretty cool. We should talk about that.
That's not a bad idea.
What do you want? I'll do a whole performance. I'll have like a stage behind me. Before we dive in, let me give a very hearty thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com/CultCast. You know, if you've been listening to this show for years, you've heard me do so many Squarespace promotions, and I use the site myself. I have 2 Squarespace sites. It's just so easy to use. You can have a website up in mere moments, or you can really dive in and customize the heck out of it. You can build an online store. I have an online store. It works brilliantly with all sorts of integrations that help me run it. You can promote your local business. I always tell people you can build a portfolio or a impactful like one-page website to highlight a skill set that you have or your resume, which I think sets you apart from a job standpoint. If you can like point them to your URL and they can see like a big picture of you or a video or some examples of your work, like that's going to give you an edge. It's also going to help you show your personality off a little bit, which could help you get a job. So if you're looking for work, if you're a college kid that's going to be graduating or something, it's great to have a resume out there online. You can do it all with a Squarespace website, and they make it really easy to do, to build, and to maintain, which is why I always love telling people who need a website, head to squarespace.com/CultCast. Build a website. See how you like it. Everything's drag and drop. It couldn't be easier. And if you like what you have after the trial, use code CultCast at checkout. You'll save 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/CultCast. And the offer code to use is CultCast at checkout, squarespace.com/CultCast. All right, where should we even start? Okay, look, I at least want to mention this. I know that many of you are wondering about the MacBook Pro, okay? And I am too. I'm waiting for one. I have the cash set aside, and I'm just waiting to see what we get and how much it costs. And part of me is hoping that we might see a price decrease since Apple is the one building the silicon. Good one.
Sure.
I know it's probably going to go up by $1,000, but one can dream. We know the reality. Let's not mess with the fantasy. So new MacBook Pros are likely coming this month, which I feel like will help alleviate the sting of the Apple Watch 6 version 2, aka the 7. So here we go. From the newsletter that Gurman puts out, Apple is poised to announce the M1X powered MacBook Pros sometime. Well, let me read this quote exactly as is, since I think this is exactly what he said. Within the next month. Gurman noted that Apple typically does its major new Mac introductions in October, so stay tuned. And he goes on just to give us a little primer on what we can expect for the M1X MacBook Pro. Quote, the Apple M1X chip, the likely name for the more graphics intense and professional-focused M1 chip, is still indeed on tap for 2021. We'll likely see it show up first in a new range of MacBook Pros in the next month, and a higher-end Mac Mini at some point. I was kind of hoping they would release these at the same time so I could make my decision on which one is going to be more suited for what I want to do, because we know the performance is probably going to be pretty much the same for both machines, and yet one is going to be significantly cheaper. The M1X has been developed into 2 variations, both with 10 CPU cores, 8 high-performance cores, and 2 high-efficiency, and then one variant with a 16-core GPU and one with a 32-core GPU. And then I will remind you all that in July, Gurman said that new MacBook Pros were coming sometime between September and November at the latest. So the question is that still on track? I mean, I think that Gurman's accurate, but I also think that plans are in flux at this point because of all the shortages happening. I don't know if you noticed. And with what happened with the Apple Watch Series 6 version 2, aka the 7, I wonder if we're still going to see a MacBook Pro this month. I think that we will. They'll at least announce it. It may be 2 to 9 months before it ships, but they'll still at least talk about it. And I'm excited for that because there's 2 things I want to buy this year. One is the MacBook Pro with the M1X, and the second, a 4K television. I think this is the year. I know many of you doubt me because I've said that 5 years in a row, and I've still not bought a television. But I think this year is the year. I could talk about why.
What do you have? Like some old CRT?
I've got
Big wooden console.
I've got some would call it the perfect television. I have a Pioneer Kuro, which is a plasma from the year 2010, and at the time, it was cutting edge technology. I paid $3,500 for this TV.
Ooh.
And right,
Wow.
I know. I can't. And now you can get TVs for half that price that are outstanding and probably better in many ways. But the thing is it's such a good TV. Its 1080p picture still beats the picture of most televisions that are sold today. And so for me, not really watching a lot of 4K content. And well, I guess there really wasn't for a long time. There just wasn't really a lot of 4K content out there. And so I was like, what's the point of buying a 4K TV? Because now you have to rely on this TV to do the upscaling for you. And it often looks like doo-doo butter. So why do that? Why buy a new TV when you can't really take advantage of what you're... Oh, dude, here it is. This is the exact TV I bought. It's a 50-inch. Does it say when this came out? No, it doesn't. Oh, boy, it's a beauty, though. It looks good in my living room, even today. It has a really beautiful classic look to it. It's kind of chunky, and the menu system is absolutely abysmal. But they don't have any pictures of it here. That's kind of a bummer. But it's a great TV, and the picture is impeccable. It still looks outstanding, even by today's standards. So anyway, I'm planning on getting my hands on both those things. One of the other things you might be interested in buying, Lewis, maybe, Series 6 version 2. Care to tell us about that? Since pre-orders start very soon?
Sure. I mean, I don't spell my name with an A, but
Oh, I mean, Leander.
Yeah, you bungled it there. You totally confused both of us.
I was look.
you like the blank stares.
I was just trying to see if you guys are paying attention. Lewis was.
Well, look, I was happy for Lewis to keep going.
Yeah,
but,
he was gonna let you do it too. He's like, oh, cool.
I was. Gonna say
I'll go back to
anything,
spacing out. Yeah. No, let's give
Not
it.
getting off the hook that easy,
Yeah,
Katie.
we want you to say some stuff. We like hearing you talk. Okay, so go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, the time. Oh my God, what am I saying? We have a.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I was gonna say, it's like how to get ready to pre-order the Apple Watch Series 7.
Yeah.
And we have a post about this, and I was about to get ready to pre-order the Apple Watch Series 7, and I went to the Apple Store app on my iPhone,
Yeah.
and it's not listed there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get to that in a minute. But anyway, they're going on sale tomorrow, exactly 5 a.m. apparently, Pacific time. Tomorrow, Friday, sorry. So yesterday, they went up 5 a.m. And demand's expected to be really heavy. Supply is expected to be really light, and they're probably going to run short real fast of models available on launch day. So if you delay, you're probably going to have to wait, days or maybe even weeks to get your new device. So, it's kind of hard to get ready. I mean, is there a way to get ready, Lewis? Really, at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, you can go and leaf through the. You can look at the pretty pictures of the colors and decide what kind of color and what size But I mean, the thing that's really bizarre is that there's, they don't even have prices listed for, the titanium and the stainless steel models. I mean, all they've only mentioned the price of the aluminum models, which start at $399 like last year. So, maybe those things are the same as they are currently for the Series 6. Maybe they're just going to run a find and replace, replace Series 6 with Series 7 everywhere on the website. It's just global find and replace, no problem. Just switch it up.
Well, that's the kind of thing we do, so.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for us.
Not a bad tactic.
Well, normally I go into the app, the store app, and I'll favorites, whatever model I want to buy, and then when you kind of order it at 5 a.m. you're all bleary-eyed and you can't see anything. You just have to click on that and hit order.
And money just disappears from your account.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's really bizarre, oddly enough, I mean, the watch is like the hardest thing, right? I mean, you don't. They don't even really show what types of bands go with what types of models, right? So I mean, this is the thing that really is kind of bizarre about this, and that what's it called, the Apple Watch Studio.
I'm on that right now. It only shows the Series 6. It doesn't even show Series 7.
So you literally can't. So can you imagine? It's 5 a.m. on the West Coast. You get up, you look at that thing. You're trying to there's 7 color combinations, right? You're like, I don't know which one I want. This could be challenging for the people who have to get up at 5 if they really.
Isn't it doing this to try to discourage people from buying it so that
please don't buy a watch from us.
Right. But I've never seen anything like this. I mean, Apple's usually pretty. It's on top of it. I mean, they never have situations like this. This is the first time I can remember anything like this for years.
It's bizarre that there's no tech specs listed. The comparison page still just shows the 6, the SE, and the 3, not the 7. I mean, is it possible they don't have the specs nailed down? Is that possible? I mean, it doesn't seem possible.
No, definitely not.
They're still waiting to hear what the what Foxconn could actually build. They're waiting to hear what the specs are actually going to be. Yeah, it is interesting. I saw several people online commenting that they've never seen a product launch like this. And it is odd that here we are the day before, not even the day. I mean, it's 15 hours away from the launch. And yet there's nothing on the site really to give you any more information about the Series 7, which I just find to be super duper odd. And they have no Apple Watch Studio, as Lewis mentioned. You can't compare the Series 7 with the Series 6. If you go to the compare page, it's just the Series 6. And that's probably because if you compared the 7 to the 6, you'd be like, wait a second. The only thing here that's different is the number 6 is now a 7. And the price.
So I haven't actually heard this. Are they going to stop selling the 6 like they did last year with the 5?
I would imagine they're going to have to. They're going to have to. Yeah. Because otherwise, I mean, it's literally exactly the same. The screen's a little bit larger. And the glass on the top is thicker. So normally they tout how it feels like you're interacting with the screen because the screen is so close to your finger. And now they're actually moving it further away.
I thought it was the opposite.
No, they're making the glass thicker. So now the screen is moving farther away from your fingertip. Yeah, they're making the glass
I remember it.
twice as thick. So, and they're still not talking about the trade-in values for Apple Watch Series 6, which normally they would give you options to do that. There's no tech specs for the Series 7.
They're just trying to wring another 2,000 sales of Series 6 out of it today. It's just the last minute got to push out that. I mean, what happens to them if they take them off the website tomorrow and they still got a warehouse full of them? What happens to them?
Oh, they'll probably liquidate them through their partner retailers like B&H and Adorama
Best
and
Buy
stuff.
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
TJ Maxx.
Yeah, TJ Maxx. Yeah.
So you can get one of the. I mean, that'll be probably a great deal, right? I mean, how much do you think they'll knock off when they put those out next week?
Oh, I bet you they're going to be super cheap on Black Friday. You'll see deals on these like crazy. And then in the assembly line, they just put a thicker piece of glass on the Series 6. They changed the number on the box from 6 to 7. I actually heard that Apple is issuing markers to all the assembly line. Yeah. So they just scribble out the 7, write a 6 on there, and then raise the price, and boom, you're raking in those profits. So clearly, I all this to say, jokes aside, all this to say, clearly, the evidence just keeps stacking up that something happened last minute, and they were planning on doing something different than what they ended up doing. So they had a contingency plan in place, it seems. And so they ended up going with that last minute because they just couldn't get the real Series 7 out the door for whatever reason.
I would love to hear the inside story on this.
Yeah, hopefully someday we will hear the inside story on this. This is like one of those, they're still testing the iPhone right before the keynote to see if it's actually going to be ready to release. And it's one of those last minute scrambles, it seems. But
frantic phone calls at 2 a.m. to China.
Yeah.
How do we make this work? Oh, my God. What do we do now?
I mean, I think things have been so hectic that TC has cut down from his usual 3 hours of sleep down to 2 hours, because there's just been so much to do. So there you go. If you want to pre-order the phone, if you want to pre-order the watch, Friday, 5 a.m. Pacific time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sons of guns.
You guys doing it?
Heck no. Are you? Did you not? You just hear what I said? It's a Series 6, Lewis.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
look.
don't know. It's tempting. I mean, it's tempting just because you want to see what it looks like, right? I mean, I remember vividly when I wasn't going to get an Apple Watch Series 4 because it was just a slightly larger screen. And I saw it, and I was like, I could not get my credit card out fast enough.
Not only that, you got two, didn't you? One for you and one for Suzanne.
Yeah. That was a pricey iPhone pickup.
I know. I remember you talking about that. I'm not going to get it. There's no way I'm going to get this.
No way. Why would I ever do that? You see it, it's like, oh my God. It was just night and day with that one. I mean, I don't know that this one's going to be that much of a big deal, big difference, but
I mean, you do get the larger display, and that's not nothing.
Larger,
I think that will be larger, brighter. That's definitely useful. So that's the thing. Like, I have a Series 6, and I love my Series 6. It's like an essential tool for me. It's like a Swiss Army knife. I use it all the time for tracking different things and timers and tracking my workouts and stuff. And if you had a Series 4 or a Series 3 or something, or a Series 5, I think that it actually might be worth making the jump and getting the Series 7.
Sure.
I mean, you're going to have to do it knowing that next year is going to be, and this is true for iPhone 13 as well. You're going to have to know next year, I mean, assuming that we're all not living in the end of the world's end. Do you remember the end scene there, Lewis?
Clearly I don't.
I won't spoil it for you, but assuming we're all still here operating the way that the economy works, usually, it might be cool to get the, or wait, what was I saying? Then we will get the Series 7, and that's going to be the one that you'll probably want. So if you get this one and you use it for a year, you got to get it knowing that next year's model is going to be a lot cooler, and hopefully we'll have some features that are more useful than basically just a larger screen. So there you go, 5 a.m. Before we move on, Lewis, do you want to give a plug to the giveaway real quick?
Yeah. This week we got a bundle of iPhone 13 cases from Casemate. 5 different cases. 3 are from Casemate themselves. One is from what is it called? Belkin? Are you familiar with Belkin? They make like seriously protective stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the other one is by a company I'd never heard of, and of course, what happened to my tab? It's gone. I've got 5,700 tabs. Which one do I need?
You said in case, right?
No. It's Hold on one second. I'm just going to go to the Cult of Mac homepage and scroll down to where it says Cult of Mac giveaways. Casemate is the overall manufacturer, but then they've partnered up with Belkin and this other company called where is it? It's a really cool looking case. It's by Rifle Paper Company. Okay, are you familiar with this company?
No, but I'm looking at the phone on the site right now. That's a cool looking case. It's like very artistic.
There's some very beautiful cases. That's the one that's actually pictured there. There's one that's like what do they call it? Twinkle Stardust, which is just exactly what you'd imagine.
You know what? I kind of like that one, Lewis. I'll be honest. I got a thing for sparkles.
Oh my God, my wife would go for that in a heartbeat. In fact, I think I already entered this giveaway. Don't tell Tracy. Soap bubble case is another one. That's also pretty bizarre looking, kind of holographic. Then there's that Rifle Paper Company, which is kind of a It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's it's kind of like a cool floral pattern that looks sort of almost like paper cutters. I don't know.
Yeah, you mean the Rifle Paper Company case? Yeah, right. It's got like birds and flowers all over it. It's very folksy, I would say.
Yeah, and then the Belkin one, of course, basic black, looks like military issue. Anyway, so if you enter that, you just go to the homepage, put in your there's multiple ways to enter. You can enter by, I think, following Casemate on Twitter. You sign up for our astonishingly fantastic Cult of Mac Today newsletter that's free. Different ways you can get different numbers of entries, and one person gets all 5 of these cases. Sometimes we have multiple winners. This week, one person. You can.
$250 worth of cases.
Yeah, these are not cheap. They're fine cases.
I put a link in the show notes. and in the chat, and to Mark T's point, who's saying giveaway odds are great. Let me just say something. The odds are great.
Enter early, enter often.
Just enter. I think that you got a good chance of winning. Let me just put that out there. I know most people don't ever bother with giveaways, and the reason that they don't is because they think that they'll probably never win. I'm just going to say you got a chance. I'm saying there's a chance. Just enter it. You might find yourself with 5 really cool iPhone cases for your iPhone 13. And iPhone 13 cases are they're not in great abundance right now. This is the thing about buying a new iPhone that I really hate is you are waiting for weeks for all the case manufacturers to get caught up. Sometimes a month, sometimes 2 months. So there's not a lot of cool cases out there. Sorry, Lewis, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, some of them are MagSafe. They got magnets in them. Some of them, I think, are just thin enough that they don't interfere with MagSafe. Yeah.
And let me give yeah, go ahead.
And the other thing I was going to say is, this one, the reason there's not that many people entered just yet is this just went live yesterday. So,
Got it. Roger.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
I want these cases myself.
Well,
just enter under a fake name.
Smeander Rainey won this week's giveaway. Again, it's Smeander again.
Meander King.
He wins every week. How's that possible? Let me just give a shout out to Budget USA. He says, I finally caught a live episode. Well, can we get some hey y'alls here for Budget USA in the chat? I just think it's cool. I see that comment a lot. There's a lot of people who listen to most of our audience listens to the show, and they listen to the audio. And then every once in a while, they make it to the live show because we've been doing these for, I don't even know, like a year and a half now. And then they'll make a comment about how much more attractive we are on video than they even thought, and how white and straight our teeth are, and how we have faces for video and voices for audio, which is like such a strange combo. So
do they often compliment our fantastic office spaces?
Well, we can't see yours, Lewis.
Basically like studios, right? I mean, like high-tech studios.
I mean, mine's pretty high-tech, I think. If you guys could see my arrangement here, you'd see like a huge pile of like clothing and shoes off to the right. It looks like I'm living in a dumpster from the mall. I've got a cool guitar back here and stuff. So anyway, all right. Let's move on because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Leander, let me toss it back to you for the 10-year anniversary of Steve Jobs passing. This was an emotional thing for me. I have to admit, it was odd to me that it struck me as hard as it did.
Yeah, it was October 5th. So early this week, Apple co-founder Steve Jobs dies at age 56. Is that all? Holy mackerel! I'm approaching that myself. In his home in Palo Alto, California. So his official cause of death is respiratory arrest arising from complications related to a rare type of pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed with the cancer 8 years earlier and officially stepped down from his role as Apple CEO in August 2011.
I just remember when they announced this news, I was stunned. I was really stunned. And I remember, Leander, you said, you're like, well, he had cancer. Like, why are you so surprised? And I'm like, I just didn't think he was going to die. And I guess for some reason, even though I knew he was sick, I always thought that he would pull through. And then when he died, it was like I felt like it was sudden, even though he had been sick for a long time. And I just remember it was a very uniting worldwide event. Like all the outpouring of emotion and support and love on Twitter, which is a rare thing to see that thing happen on Twitter for sure. And people going to all the different Apple stores. Like I went to my Apple store.
The stores,
yeah, and it was like covered with notes and flowers, and I got on the news. The news came up, and they're like, "Why are you here?" And I was like,
Really?
"Oh, yeah." I think they put me on the news. I never watched it, but they interviewed me. Maybe because I was bawling and my face was red and my eyes were all swollen, And but it was just it was a moment in my life that was more profound than I thought it was going to be. Look, I don't mean to like over dramatize what happened, but it was just the thing about Steve Jobs. I think for me that I'll always remember about his passing was how many people were like emotionally impacted by him. And I kind of wonder, like, how did you feel, Leander? I mean, having written a whole book and almost getting to shake his hand twice. When you heard, like, were you pretty bummed out about it as well?
Yeah, I was oddly affected too, because I have mixed feelings about him, and but I had been to see all of his keynotes for the previous 10 years. And I did a lot of press that day myself, like I was on CNN and did a couple of interviews. And it didn't hit me until afterwards when I was listening to, of all things, a song, like a song by Elbow, this British band. And I really got kind of upset. The music, how music can, sort of crystallize your emotions. And it was I got upset about it, even though like I said, I always sort of had mixed feelings, and I obviously didn't know the guy, and I was really, like you, touched at how how many people showed up, and there were all those vigils. There was kind of like vigils at the stores, and there was one outside of his house in Palo Alto, and there was people of all ages and generations. I mean, there was kids there and teenagers, and old fogies like us, and it was quite something. I don't think I've ever seen a corporate CEO mourned in the same way. Usually it's for like pop stars or actors, cultural figures. Like I can't remember the last time a CEO, had this kind of cultural impact. But it was and like you said, it was kind of a surprise, I think, because there was so much denial, I think, in the Apple community at the time. Like, I think a lot of people weren't, and they were also, Apple was kind of a little bit, secretive and obfuscating about the whole thing, that everything they put out, he's fine, he's great. And then there were some paparazzi photographs of him looking really frail and gaunt.
Yep.
And we published those and or posted, I think, did a link to a story. I think I can't remember which publication I think it was it was some tabloid like the New York Post, I think. And we got a lot of angry complaints about that, saying we were tabloid, it was sensational, it was bottom feeding. To me, it felt like, well, this is news. This is news. It's uncomfortable news, but it's news. This is something you have to something that. So I felt an obligation that we ought to cover, but it was still a shock, when and that was just a few days before he actually died. So it was he went down really fast, unfortunately, didn't he? I mean, it looked like he got very, very frail and very, very thin very quickly. And of course he was dealing with Walter Isaacson. I mean, he knew it himself. I mean, remember that his biographer, he was doing all those interviews with his biographer, Walter Isaacson. So he knew he was dying, but I think the Apple community, I think, was like a lot of denial about it. Yeah, it was a sad day. It was it was there was, and of course there was a lot of speculation as well, also about what was going to happen with Apple and who was going to how it was going to fare and whether it was going to survive without him. And the consensus seemed to be like, it'll be okay for a couple of years, but it'll eventually go into decline. That's another issue, but I
was gonna say we could probably do a whole episode just on that, because they're doing much better financially, but I do think that maybe the way that Apple has been impacted most is having that North Star, that taste setter, which he was, right? He would be the one that would say, yes, we're going to do this. No, we're not going to do this. And I think that Apple has done that pretty well since he's been gone, but not as well as they would have done if he was there. I think that there would have been some decisions that would have been different if he were there, because that was one of his most profound skills. The other thing, and I was thinking about this yesterday as I was just thinking about Steve Jobs and his impact, one of the things I would love to understand about Steve Jobs, and I think one of the things that made him so special, was how he was able to create these companies that were able to be so creative and create such culturally impactful products. So he did it with Apple, right? Then he gets fired from Apple. He goes and builds Next. The same thing happens at Next. Then Apple buys Next. He comes back. And then at the same time, he does it at Pixar. I mean, a completely different industry. And yet that company had maybe equal to, maybe in some ways even more of a cultural impact than Apple has had. And that was one of Steve Jobs' great talents. I think so. I mean, think about the catalog of content that Pixar has created, and how impactful that has been to so many people who don't care about technology. And yet they love Toy Story. They love all of the different content that Pixar has produced. So maybe not more so, but I would certainly say maybe equally as important as what Apple has done has been his work at Pixar, and just how he was able to build an environment where creative people really did outstanding work, and these companies were able to survive without him. There's a skill set in there that he possessed that other people don't have, and I wish I could understand what that skill set is, because as someone who does creative work, he was a monumentally creative person, and yet he also was able to inspire other creative people to do outstanding high quality work, and that's something that I wish I understood, because that legacy has outlived him in both of the companies that he worked on. I'm not saying he was a perfect guy. I know a lot of people, when we have these conversations, we're like, oh, he used to yell at his employees and he was a jerk to some people. Yeah, that's also true. But hey,
fear.
If you think he was
Fear's
tough, you should hear what Lewis does to motivate people. Sorry, Leander, what?
Yeah, when they say he was imperfect, I mean, one of the things that surfaced like on the anniversary of his death is someone pointed out some chapters some excerpts from Walter Isaacson's book, which talked about his reaction to his cancer diagnosis, and it was one of denial. He didn't get the reason he died is because he didn't get treated for 9 months. He tried to treat himself with a diet. He tried to go with an ultra clean diet, and he didn't want to have an operation. He didn't want to have his body cut open, and I can understand that. I mean, who would want to? But he was getting begged by everyone, Johnny Ive, his wife, friends, doctors, and he lived right across, down the street from one of the best cancer centers in the entire world. Wow. At Stanford. And he wouldn't do it. He tried to eat himself better. He tried to go on this, this diet, this extreme vegan diet, and was hoping that would affect his cancer. And that, and that to me was like, what a tragic mistake, what a tragic mistake, the biggest mistake of his life. And people talk about his infallibility, but here was something that was not a good decision.
And the irony may have been is he was so successful in technology, he may have felt like he was invincible in certain ways, and that may have led to his decision. Like his success at Apple and Pixar may have led to his decision to think that he could beat this health issue that he was having without going through a standard level of treatment. I don't know. That's just.
I don't want to speculate on that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think the reason, like the reasons in those excerpts, that there were some quotes from his wife saying that he didn't want to be operated on. He didn't want to have his body cut open, which, that was the only reason I saw, cited as to why he didn't get, standard treatment. But of course, then when he did go to get standard treatment, it was too late by then. And then, of course, they really did cut him out because he had a liver transplant. He had that Whipple procedure, didn't they, where they take out almost half your intestines.
Isn't that the original procedure that they recommend for pancreas issues, or would it have been a much more minor procedure? Because if that was the procedure, I can understand why you'd be hesitant. Because that seems they say some people have a hard time even surviving that.
Yeah, I think that was the standard procedure. Where they take out the pancreas and then half your intestines too. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that he was reluctant to do that, but it might have saved his life.
Well, I know it's getting deep here, and there's it's been emotional. I just want to touch on a few I thought touching pieces that I saw this week about Steve Jobs. I mean, the first one was on Apple's website. Do I have this up here somewhere? They posted a.
Hold on, I gotta close the window.
Okay, yeah, because that guy with the Harley, he's just out there. He's just idling. What's he doing out there? So Apple had a really touching tribute to Steve Jobs, and unfortunately, I don't.
You thought that was really touching, right? I mean, you generally felt.
Yeah, I thought so. So unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it here, but they changed the Apple homepage to a really cool picture of Steve Jobs working on a Mac in his early days, and they had a video there that you could play that just showed moments of his life and his history with Apple. And I thought that was cool. Maybe some people thought it was a little hokey, but I actually really liked it. And then Steve Jobs penned a letter to Apple employees about Steve, and he said, and I thought these were kind of touching. He said that Apple today commemorates its co-founder and former CEO Steve Jobs 10 years after he passed away from pancreatic cancer. Oh, I'm sorry. This is our story, not what Tim said. But let's see here. Where is it? I put it in the wrong order. There we go.
Scroll down.
Oh, there it is. I found it. This week, Tim Cook sent a memo to all employees about his boss and friend. In it, he says that Jobs' passion to change the world for the better lives I can't even read this. He says that Jobs' passion to change the world for the better lives on in the company. And he said, not a day goes by that I don't think about them. For some reason, that phrase I just thought was really, really touching. Like, he thinks about him every single day. But more than that, there was a story with Johnny Ive in the Wall Street Journal, and he wrote about his relationship with Steve Jobs. And if you get a chance, I would recommend that you actually go read this. It's very touching. It's also really sad. And the one thing that I personally will never understand about Steve Jobs, having children, I have 4 kids, is if I found out I had some type of illness that was going to potentially kill me, I would be done working. Like, I would focus on my family. And Steve Jobs, I don't know if he changed his focus when he found out he was sick, but he was still really involved at Apple. And I know one of the reasons that he did the book with Walter Isaacson was because he wanted his kids to get to know him better. And I just, that's gut-wrenching to me, like, to be taken so early that you have to have a biography made about you so that your kids could get to know you. I just thought that was profoundly sad. And I wanted to read you guys this bit.
Yeah, it's extremely sad and depressing.
Yeah, it is. And that's something that Johnny Ive kind of echoed in this story here. I'll just read part of it. He said, my memories of that brutal, heartbreaking day 10 years ago are scattered and random. I cannot remember driving down to his house. I do remember a hazy October sky and shoes that were too tight. I remember afterwards, Tim and I sat quietly in the garden together for a long time, just sat there together silently. Since giving Steve's eulogy, I have not spoken publicly about our friendship, our adventures, or our collaboration. I never read the flurry of cover stories, obituaries, or the bizarre mischaracterizations that have slipped into folklore, but I think about Steve every day. We worked together for nearly 15 years. We had lunch together most days and spent our afternoons in the sanctuary of the design studio. Those were some of the happiest, most creative and joyful times of my life. And he's talking about Steve Jobs' kids here. He's talking about Lorene. When her brilliant and inquisitive children ask me about their dad, I just cannot help myself. I can talk happily for hours describing the remarkable man I loved so deeply. And that was the part that I just thought was very sad. Like, Steve Jobs leaves his family behind. He was a real guy. He has kids. And now his kids get to hear about who their dad was from one of Steve's best friends. And I thought that was sad. And I also thought it was very touching that Johnny Ive has tried to take that role and help his kids to understand, like, who their father actually was, which I think is a part of the story that doesn't get talked about very often. It's like the sacrifice that Steve Jobs that he made in order to give us Apple and all the technology and all the content, the sacrifice he had to make from a father perspective, which I think is an interesting part of his story that doesn't get talked about. Anyway, I know that's heavy. So I thought it would be worthwhile just to remember Steve Jobs, and we don't talk about him very often anymore. I kind of feel like Apple has in some ways been disconnected from Steve because it's been so long since he passed. But for me, it still very much feels like Steve Jobs' company, and I think about him a lot too, and what he might be doing, what he would think about certain products. So it was cool to read, thoughts from Tim, thoughts from Johnny, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and wrap up with Steve Jobs there. R.I.P. We miss you, Steve. And let's move into Under Review, the segment where we talk about gadgets that we're testing out, that we're trying out. It's been a while since we've done this. And I've got a couple things that I thought I could talk about. One in particular.
2?
Well, I'm sorry. I've got one, but 2 versions of the same product. And it's cooking technology. And it's something that has really radically changed the way that I cook since I've been introduced to this product. So I thought it'd be cool to talk about it. But I know we all got picks. Leander, would you care to kick us off with an all-new Under Review to talk about, I don't know, whatever it is you got?
Sure, yeah.
Something that has smoke pouring out of it, I'm sure.
No, for once it isn't.
Wow.
But it's related, though, because, once you've once you've consumed the smoke, this is what you need. It's a button remote. It's a simple button remote for the Apple TV.
Oh, look at that.
And I was kind of skeptical of this, wasn't sure if I would like it, but I hate the Siri remote so much. And I don't have one here, but the old Siri, it replaces the black Siri, the glass remote from the Siri remote, with something that's a lot more conventional button remote, and it's nice. It's got a sort of silicone rubbery top and all the buttons you'd ever need for controlling your TV as well as the Apple TV as well. So it has volume controls and then standard media controls. And I was amazed actually. This thing worked right out of the box with my TV and with my Apple TV, so no programming necessary. It's set up for Samsung TVs, and I think which I think it means it works with some other brand TVs by default as well. But if you need to program it, you can for your own particular TV. Get it to learn your TV, and it's a lot easier to hold. It's a lot easier to find than the Siri remote. But the one downside is that it doesn't have a microphone, so you can't use Siri itself.
Oh, not give you
bummer!
The show you want to watch.
Well, I know for some people that isn't bad news, but I actually find the Siri really useful for putting in passwords. The search actually worked every now and again. To be honest, I never really got to I still haven't gotten to the habit of using Siri on the Apple TV. So I'm quite happy using a remote, and it's inexpensive. It's $30. You can get it on the Cult of Mac store.
Oh shit!
By Function 101. So we run this in the store. It's an inexpensive, remote that replaces the much hated Siri remote, and I liked it. I recommend it.
This is a master stroke of marketing right here, right? He's reviewing something, and oh hey, you know what? It's also available in the store.
What a surprise!
There you go. I wish you told me this so I could have showed a picture of it while you were talking.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah,
that's cool. I'm showing it right now.
I mean, this is why we sell stuff in the store. We're trying to sell stuff that we like, that we review, that we think is good.
Right. I posted it in the chat. I'll post it in the show notes too. Yeah.
If you actually miss She Who Shall Go Unnamed, you can use the app, the remote app on your iPhone, right? For those rare instances where you actually want to put in a password or something.
Oh, okay.
You can just copy it right from Dashlane right in there.
Oh,
because I'm sure you have a very long, strong, complex password, right?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
It's like 75 characters. He made it himself too. He didn't let Dashlane do it. He's like, I'm gonna make sure I use all the symbols, all the keys, capital, lowercase. Took 10 minutes to craft that password.
And I reuse it for every single service I use.
He wanted to make sure it was good because he knew he was going to reuse it for every single site that he goes to. So it had to be really top notch. So the security is there,
including that sketchy, forum.
That's right. All right, cool. Function 101 button remote for Apple TV. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know that you could control your Apple TV with another remote besides your iPhone. So I learned something today. I didn't even know that was possible. So there you go. And, this one won't fall between the cushions on your couch, which is also a good thing. Alrighty, I'll go next. It's been so long since we've talked about products on this show, and I actually kind of have like a small backlog. So I have one that I recently got, and I have been absolutely loving it. So this is cooking technology. This is a product called the ThermaPen. Have you guys heard of these?
Have I heard of it?
It's a meat thermometer.
Long time lover of the ThermaPen.
Okay, so
is
it's
that the Mark IV?
This is the ThermaPen 1. This is their newest and best, Lewis.
Their
newest and best.
There's a new one.
So
they went back?
They just released it. So I have an older ThermaPen that I purchased, and then I saw the new one came out, and I said, "Oh, that looks interesting." And then lo and behold, they emailed me and they're like, "Would you like to test one out?" And I was like, "Yes, I do. Thank you very much." So they did send this to me for free to review. I love it. It's so if you're not familiar with the concept of ThermaPen, it is a thermometer that you can use not just for meat but for cooking, And the point of it is it's super accurate, so it's like within some ridiculous margin of accuracy that I don't have in front of me. And it's also fast. Like most thermometers take 20, 30 seconds before they stabilize. Now this is the old one. This one comes to temperature in 5 seconds. So that's pretty fast, right? But when you're using it, it's like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. It doesn't feel as fast as it used to. And then they came out with the ThermaPen 1, the new one. Guess how fast it is, Lewis? The ThermaPen 1.
I'm guessing 1 second.
You are too good. That's exactly what it is.
Can't slip nothing past
me. It is 1 second, and it's like in many circumstances, it's like instantaneous. Like you poke it in, and it's like 1 month, and it's just done. And there's your temperature. And when you have a tool that's this accurate, I mean, it just lets you be precise in your grilling, especially because the margin of error for this is a juicy piece of chicken, and I'm going to make a boot out of this because now it's shoe leather.
Juicy piece of rabbit.
Yeah.
Juicy chicken.
It's like sometimes it's like 30 seconds. So like you need to have accurate information fast, and that's what this thing lets you do. It's like you put in a piece of chicken, boom, boom, boom. It's just one after another, and you get almost instantaneous, precise readings. And once you get one of these, you really just can't live without it. Like if you grill, if you cook, if you make soups, if you like to bake things, this becomes an indispensable tool. Not only is it fast and accurate, but this one, it must have like a gyroscope in it, because the other one, the reading was fixed. So it always shows the temperature at the same orientation no matter how you hold the thermometer. This new one, if you hold it upside down, it will change the orientation of the screen so that you can always see what the actual temperature is. Like no matter how you bend this thing, it will show you the temperature so that you can read it. And it's also illuminated so you can see it in the dark. And it's also got fantastic weather sealing. So like, I don't think you're supposed to put these underwater, but you can like wipe them off like damp cloths and stuff without getting them, without damaging them. So this is ThermaPen 1. It's available at thermoworks.com. If you're interested, they have them in a bunch of different colors. It's not cheap. It's $105, which
what?
I know people think that's expensive, but dude, for a tool of this caliber, honestly, I think they could ask more. I think they could probably ask $130 for this, and people would still pay it. I would still consider it at $130 because it's just such an indispensable tool. And this one my old one, I've had for I don't know, 5-6 years, and it's still going strong. I replaced the battery once, and so I imagine I'll have this one until they release the ThermaPen 0.1, which or the ThermaPen pre-temp. So before you even put it into the meat, it knows the temperature, right? They've programmed it with the consciousness from Minority Report. Remember those beings from Minority Report?
Yeah.
It's got pre-temp, so it's like as soon as you know you're going to cook, you go and you look at the thermometer. It's like there's the temperature.
I wish that was true in real life, wouldn't it? If your dinner would actually cook itself before you.
That's gonna be the next feature. So there's my pick. The ThermaPen. ThermaPen 1 is the newest model. Lewis, take us home.
How can I follow that up? Jeez.
Well, you can't. That's why I.
Well, how do you know that one so well? Is that like a Grill Masters?
Oh yeah, I mean I actually reviewed one of these on Cult of Mac years ago. Yeah, it's a fantastic thing. I've actually had a couple of them. One of them got broken. I don't know. Somehow the metal probe got bent in a drawer or something, and it was heartbreaking. And you know what? I immediately ordered a replacement because once you have one, you can't live without it. It's really great. I want to get one of their infrared things. You just kind of beam it at the thing, and it tells you how hot your oven is or how hot the area above the grill is. I've never used one of those yet, but that looks like that would be very handy.
I've got one of. Sorry, go ahead.
Take your own temperature with it. One of those.
You can also do that. It's like
you're
well done.
Could, but
must go to the hospital. I'm well done. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, love those products. So let's see. What am I going to talk about?
I don't know. Hope it's good.
This is I can't really show it because it's plugged in.
Cool.
I got a box.
Well, it's all blurred out because you got your background blur on. Just okay. Oh, I can see it now. It's an iPhone MagSafe iPhone charger,
yeah,
right?
This is it's from Belkin. It's called the Boost Charge Pro, and I had a nice little conversation with Belkin the other day. This thing's like a year old. This came out when iPhone 12 got released. Shortly after that. Charges 3 things: the iPhone, Apple Watch and AirPods, or basically anything. I mean, there's a little area where AirPods are fit in there, and it's awesome. It's unbelievably sturdy. It's got a like a rubbery grip bottom. The base is super heavy, so it never feels like it's gonna like tip over. And it's got that rubbery bit on the bottom that's like super just
sticky, grippy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels really good. In fact, I don't know if you have MagSafe chargers. I mean, my experience with MagSafe was just using the puck that Apple sells. It's always I know you can buy various stands that you can insert that into, right? Which is fine. I've always just used it on the desk. I found it to be almost annoying. It's fast. That's one thing that's awesome about it. 15 watts.
Oh, that's powerful.
Right. And anyway, getting this thing, which also charges at 15 watts, and talking with Belkin about this, just like, we're still the only 15 watt 3-in-1 charging stand on the market.
Oh my!
I haven't researched this. I've done a little bit of research. I can't find another one. You see some things, you're like, oh yeah, 15 watt charging, and then you find out, oh yeah, because you stick the Apple charger in it. I don't know. Maybe this is maybe there's some out there that I haven't seen that Belkin doesn't know about. Whatever. I don't know. But this thing is still in demand. It costs like Belkin sells it for $99. Other websites are selling it for like $150. And it's sold out. The Amazon, $150. Apple Store listed for $139. Sold out. Well, at least you can't pick it up in the stores. So yeah, it's a pretty great thing. One of the things that they were pointing out when they're showing this thing to me is, it's got like the kind of attention to detail that Apple would spend on things, right? I mean, the little comes with a wall wart thing, right? It plugs in the back of the base, and it's just tucks in there very nicely. It's not like something sticking out ugly in the back of it. It's everything's sleek, and the metal it's like a brilliant chrome. Wish I had unplugged it and everything. All my stuff sitting on it, but I really like it because it's got that 15 watt charging. It's really so it's fast. It charges your phone up fast. Everything sits on there. The watch is very secure, held on by magnet the way they always are. But you can flip the phone horizontal. You can have it, vertical or horizontal. I found I actually use my phone like for sending text messages and messages in Slack now, because it's just right there. I can tap on it.
Typewriter.
Yeah, well,
no horizontal mode.
It works great.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway. I mean, it's a charging stand, right? But it's a good one.
What was it called again?
It's called
the Belkin 3-in-1
Boost Charge Pro.
The Boost Charge Belkin. Pro. Yeah, man, they make good stuff too. They sent me a similar charging stand. It was a pre-MagSafe version, and I love it. I still use it even now, and it's built really well. They also sent me some cables, dude. These cables, they are like indestructible. They're first of all, they're aesthetically pleasing cables. Like they have like a really nice nylon weave on the outside, which I appreciate, and they're also like super duper high quality. So I feel totally at ease giving them a plug, because they make really high quality stuff.
Yeah, I mean, their stuff is not the cheapest around.
It's not, but the good stuff never is.
Quality. Yeah, you got to pay a little more sometimes.
It's like if I could think of an analogy that would be apt here. It's like CultCloth. You could buy the cheap garbage from Amazon.
I thought you were gonna say something else. Yeah.
You can buy the cheap garbage from Amazon. It's like small, tiny. It's like you rub it on your phone. It's like it doesn't even clean. It just rubs the muck around. And then you spend a little bit more, just a little bit, on some CultCloth at cultcloth.co. And it's like it's like a whole different wiping experience. You take the cloth off your iPhone and you feel like Jeff Goldblum. You're like, oh, whoa, what's this? Oh my, like I can't believe it. And you don't even know what to say because the sparkle is just happening all over. Your sunglasses look great. Your phone looks sparkling, brand new. Your computer looks like it just came out of the factory at Foxconn. I mean, it's just unreal. So I get the analogy,
Those 3-in-1 charging stands are great too. I mean, because it's everything you have: your watch, your phone, your AirPods.
Yeah.
I have another one from a competing company that maybe I can talk about next week, actually.
Save it for next
week. But yeah, they're great. I love them. I'm a big fan.
15-watt charging? Probably not, right?
I don't know, to be honest, but I should check. Yeah, good.
It's really awesome. I mean, my experience with MagSafe was sort of, like I was saying, kind of middling prior to this phone, because I just had the one charger that was on the desk, and I had my phone in a really fantastic leather case. MagSafe worked through it, but it definitely cut down on how magnetic it was, right? It made it less easy to just pop it in. And man, I'm a huge fan of this MagSafe stuff now because it really is awesome.
I love MagSafe.
You just set the phone anywhere near it. It almost just hops in place on the thing. Right. It's great.
It's a genius move, MagSafe, isn't it? I mean, because it was like, I can't believe that someone didn't think of it before, and it really is a game changer. Batteries, like induction batteries now, like an external battery pack. Those things work great. That's the best thing ever to have a thing like on the back, no wires. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of MagSafe.
Yeah, I can't believe that I have, like, basically didn't get in on it a year ago. I just kind of whatever.
It takes a bit while for it to mature, doesn't it? But the accessories that.
I mean, it took me a while to like get my head out of my something.
Yeah.
Well, you also got to go out, unless you get stuff for free, but you got to go out and buy the stuff. It's like, do you want to buy a phone for $1,100 and then go and buy the accessories, the mag? So it takes a little while to accumulate that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, my next thing is going to be getting a MagSafe battery pack, because that just seems like a no-brainer. I can't believe I don't have one right now.
Well, don't get the one from Apple.
Oh no, the Apple one's pretty good. I quite liked it. I think it's really not bad.
That's not what I heard. I mean, it's funny. Like when I saw the specs for it, I talked about like this thing seems like woefully underpowered and actually pretty overpriced for what you're getting. And then people started reviewing it on YouTube, and that was kind of the consensus. It was like, man, this thing is expensive and it just doesn't charge your phone very fast. And there are other options out there, like the one from, I think everyone's favorite one that I've seen is like the one from, I think it's from Anker. I think they're the ones that make it, and they're like, dude, buy the Anker. It's cheaper, and it will charge your phone faster. So I haven't used it, though, but I hear that's one that is definitely a contender. So you have the Apple one, and you like it, Leander?
I liked it well enough, yeah, but, I have that, and I bought it out on a bike ride. My phone ran out, and couldn't find my way home, so I had to go to an Apple store, and I was desperate. So I dropped like 100 whatever it is, bucks on the Apple one, and then and it wasn't even charged up. I had to go back to the Apple store and like stand there for half an hour while I charged up the battery pack and the phone. But it works well enough. Like you said, it is slow, it is expensive. And it only charges via Lightning, which isn't great.
3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah, but I've got a cheaper one that I got from Amazon. Like a $50 one that charges by USB-C, and that one works just as well. I don't know what the charging, what the wattages are and the charge times, but yeah, the $50 one works just as well.
Oh shoot!
I was going to ask what special features the Apple one has aside from high price tag.
Looks nice. Looks really nice.
It gives you a nice animation when you connect it on the front.
Oh yeah, those like.
Well, there you go, animation.
There you go. That's worth an extra $85. Captain Zach Hicks is saying, "I don't like the Anker version. Sorry, Anker. I don't like the Anker version. It doesn't stay on. It doesn't stay on that well. It's so bulky." So he likes the Apple. He likes the Apple stuff. Zach Hicks is an Apple man. He likes Apple stuff. Holy moly, he's got it all. All right, look, I want to give a quick shout out to. I'm going to do my best here for you. Nejadeka Okafor. He says, listener from Nigeria here, been listening for about 11 years. Shout out to the CultCast team. Hello, Governor. Oh, my gosh. So happy that you were able to join us. 11 years. Oh, my gosh. Has it been that long?
Crazy.
Has it been that long? 11 years of my life. Flushed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I got a hard stop at 2 p.m. So I'm going to go ahead and press this button right here and say that's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. If there's a case or an accessory you'd love to see us talk about on the show, reach out to us. We're all on Twitter. I'm at Erfon, ERFON. Leander is at Elcaney. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. Hey, stay tuned for the Steve Jobs Stanford commencement. We do it every year on his on the anniversary of his passing, so that will be pretty cool. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. I already said that. Thanks for listening. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all. Oh, Richard with the bye, y'all. I just said that. Great minds buy y'all alike. That's what Tim Cook likes to say. Oh, thank you. Ninja Deka. I hope I'm saying that right. I gave it my best.
I doubt it.
I gave it my best. I think I got close. Well, as the music winds down here, any last words, Lewis?
Last words, no.
That was a sigh.
Nothing.
The classic Lewis Wallace sigh. We don't hear those often enough. All right, well, if you've got nothing clever to say, I'm going to start hovering my mouse slowly towards the end stream button.
Whoa.
Lander, if you have anything to say, now's the time.
Too late, I already uploaded my audio.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't entertained.
I stopped it, saved it, and uploaded it. I'm just waiting for this ordeal to be over so I can go to the bar.
All right.
Oh, heavens.